From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
All right, so pretty much let me take myself off mute real quick, but it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper, and I have my man in the I have my man waiting because I can't say he's in the building because he's somewhere in West. He's at his house in West LA, but all in all, though, we got him coming in right now, and that's going to be Mike Abadir. Mike, what's up?
Cheers. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
What's up? All right. Hey, you know what? Hey, everybody, real quick before we get into it, man, you guys make sure you get into the 100X. I'm going to be tweeting that out all weekend this weekend while I'm in Dallas as well, too. You guys,
we got some big announcement that hasn't been – we haven't announced it yet, but there's some big news coming.
Right.
I know you have insight on that one, man. You got some big news coming.
Yes, big news coming, but I just want to make sure my people know that if you're in the Bitcoin game and everything like that, and if you want to be the Bill Gates, the Warren Buffett of this thing, and really jump in on something that's brand new, is going to be able to get you a lot of these coins and everything like that, check out 100X. You guys can hit up Mike at Mike Abadir on Twitter, and he can go through that with you a little bit more, or you guys can go ahead and go to their website, and they'll walk you through it and get your investment on, man. It is a good deal. What's going on, Mike? How's everything going, brother?
Everything is good, man. Everything is real good. Complaints, beautiful day. Excited for a big upcoming weekend. It was a fun Derby weekend. I enjoyed Derby weekend. I did. You know, I got the trifecta. What I did is I boxed the 15 and 17, which were my two keys, with three other horses, which were the 7, 8, and I don't remember which other one. I got lucky. I went with the 5-horse box, and my two top choices didn't help me. It was the other choices that did. That's sometimes the way it works.
Right. I got Rock Your World. Anguish right now, man. Mike, peep this. We had I had the super hi-fi key with Rock Your World on top. We get everybody home. Only person I don't need here is the 7. But if we get Rock Your World home on top, no 7, then I would have walked out of Santa Anita with 300,000.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, and then we would have had to stop the show for about a month because I would have went to Tahiti or something, dude.
I was just gonna say we'll find you in the Bahamas or something.
Yeah,
well, I'm sorry to hear that. That makes the $867 trifecta sound worthless. I would rather you won 300K than me to hit, make a couple thousand.
I'd have took the $503 exacta. I'd have took the 860, but I couldn't do any of that because the 7 made that happen. Now, if I would have been like, okay, and the craziest part about it is, Medina Spirit won the Kentucky Derby and everything like that. That's what I was going to get into with you right now. Baffert got his 7th win and everything like that when it came to it. So when I looked at it, I said to myself, okay, Medina Spirit is going to finish in the money. Why is he still 12-1? I felt like Hot Rod Charlie should have been the 12-1, and Medina Spirit should have been like 6-1. But people really didn't believe in Medina Spirit simply because Medina Spirit's price tag and the way that Medina Spirit got blasted in the Santa Anita Derby. But as long I've been dealing with Bob Baffert since I was about, say, 12 years old, because I was a big fan of Silver Charm. Mm-hmm. I was with my dog walking money. I've been working since I was in 8th grade. I had some dog walking money, weekly out, and I took some of that dog walking money. I handed it to my dad, said, bet this on Silver Charm. Silver Charm winds up winning that day. You know what I mean? And this this white hair guy comes out, and he's so happy, and it's his first one. It's Bob Baffert. You know what I mean? And he's just coming onto the scene too. Because this is when this is the days of Dwayne Lucas, dude. The Celtics. You know what I mean? So pretty much, now we come back 25 years later almost, and he does it again with the same type of horse. Because Medina Spirit was just like Silver Charm. Got smoked in the Santa Anita Derby, came back to Churchill, and beat the likes of horses like Tappet. I mean, and other great horses as well, too, that were part of that group as well that day. You know what I mean? And I just mentioned Tappet because, Tappet is the sire of sires, as they say, in today's world. And so pretty much that's really crazy to me, because I feel like it's the same type of race. Because when you look at it, a horse like, say, Essential Quality is probably going to be making some really good horses when it comes up, when it's all said and done.
Agreed.
You look at Rock Your World, he's going to probably be making really good horses when it's all said and done as well, too. And also another one in that group, I would say Hot Rod Charlie's probably going to have some good babies as well, too, because he has good pedigree, good lineage. And what killed me about Hot Rod Charlie was, Doug's my guy. I was in the box with them Saturday with the family. So pretty much, Hot Rod Charlie, the anticipation of him winning was great, but everybody's still happy with third place because you get to go home with $300,000 still.
Yeah. Yeah. Not bad chunk of change.
Yeah. So,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I have similar thoughts in terms of going back and kind of like analogizing. You kind of analogize to Silver Charm, makes perfect sense. I have some thoughts about Baffert, and I'll get to that in a second. But I was kind of just thinking about how live the Santa Anita Derby is. Mm-hmm. And we don't give it as much credit as it deserves. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are looking at, Fountain of Youth or Florida Derby or Tampa Derby or whatever, all the prep races, Aqueduct, etc. It's all about the Santa Anita Derby. Let's be honest about it. Even in years where, what year was that? 2005, Giacomo was fourth in the Santa Anita Derby. The winner was Buzzards Bay at 60-1. He was the hyped horse going into the Kentucky Derby. But his fourth place Giacomo that came out of that race and sprung an upset. You have to, I would say this. I'm going to make a declaration, Pop. From this point moving forward, today onward, any horse that has competed in the Santa Anita Derby that qualifies for the Kentucky Derby, so any runner that was in the SA Derby that gets into the Kentucky Derby must be respected, should be used in all boxes, and probably used in all pick 3s, pick 4s, pick 5, pick 6.
Yes.
It's for me, it's going to be an automatic rule. Oh, there's 2 horses from the Santa Anita Derby and the Kentucky Derby. Cool. Using both of them. And if they're Baffert, then also they get win money. Because Baffert is a freaking wizard. I didn't love Medina Derby going into this, but I used it because of Bob. Bob sometimes does his best work when he's most unexpected to. When you least expect it, he comes through. What's funny is they were saying, was it Friday or Saturday? Bob Baffert's great on dirt. He typically doesn't win a lot of turf stakes races or grade 1s or whatever it was. And sure enough, busts out with a turf win. It's when you least expect him to do it is when he comes through, man. So never, ever, ever will I underestimate Bob Baffert. I never do usually, but I didn't put any win money on Medina Spirit.
And then when I think about it, the way I bet Medina Spirit should have been my horse. Because I really don't like going in with horses that are 5-1, 6-1 into the Derby. I want to make it a little fun. I want to get it a little spicy for the pepper. You know what I mean? So
I hear you.
I wasn't able to do that. But the thing about what was good Saturday though was, since I'm like the king of the dungeon at Santa Anita, I was able to clean up. I was able to get some things going over there. That was fine. Even though horses didn't come in and win necessarily, they were still hitting the exacta for me, still coming in and paying me some money. So that was okay, because I was like, well, my Santa Anita form's not off today. So pretty much that worked out a little bit. But
hey, sometimes that happens, man. Like, I can't tell you how many times I stunk up the joint during a Breeders' Cup, but I came out ahead on that day.
Right.
And for me, my tracks are my go-to tracks: Santa Anita or West Coast, Golden Gate. I love me some Golden Gate, my Bay Area roots. I like Los Al at night and Charlestown at night. Those are my tracks.
Charlestown at night. Charlestown, you never know what's going to happen in Charlestown.
Love me some Charlestown.
Only tragic thing about Charlestown is that's where we lost Share Belief at.
Yeah.
Share Belief would never run a race again after that day. And it was crazy because, you know what? That was the biggest handle they ever had on one single horse. And the winner, who was Imperative, and a lot of people who, if you remember who Imperative is, Imperative ran for about 9 years. And Imperative, I think he ran about 6 Breeders' Cup Classics as well, too, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
This horse always found a way into a big race and didn't win a lot of races, but he used to place a lot. And he had owners that were just these gung-ho owners like, we'll take him there. You know?
Absolutely.
And I think there's another one. He wore something. He was like that too. Like, we'll just take him. Like, he's 40-1 though. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna take him. He's gotta be in a race. All right, cool. I call those horses lucky millionaires, because they kind of fell into a million because they kept being in these big races and finding ways to place in the top 3. They didn't necessarily win the race, but you know, that's what happens when you got a strong gelding, though. You know, Lava Man was a lot like that as well too. Lava Man was out at the Kentucky Derby with Hot Rod Charlie as well too. You know,
you know, I didn't know that. Lava Man, won 4 Hollywood Cups or something like that?
3. I think it was 3. Yeah, it was 3. Yeah, he's the. I think, didn't they have a statue out there of him?
He's a Hall of Fame Calbred. I mean,
yeah, because from what I heard, all the Hollywood Sport Park stuff is in a storage. And I heard that
you're gonna bring a tear to my eye, man. You're not gonna bring a tear to my eye.
Look, they kept the stuff out there as long as they could until they built the new stadium. You know that, right? They kept that stuff out there, and I heard they wanted to put it in front of the casino, but I think that they're going to put it out for auction very soon. You know what I mean? I think, and you know, if Santa Anita wanted to really keep up with the heritage of Southern California racing, you know, their sister track, I would have thought they would have tried to buy some of that stuff to put over at Santa Anita. But, you know, it'd be real cool if somebody came up with what one of these rich owners came up with the idea and had like a California Thoroughbred museum. That would be awesome.
That would be cool. You know what big legendary horse came out of the last day at Santa Anita, right?
What?
California Chrome.
California Chrome. Yeah, well, California Chrome, the old Rocky story, in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because his little owner, the guy with the guy with the gray beard and all that stuff, who was the most talkative one,
Steve Colburn.
He would have been really good for racing, but I don't even think they're around anymore.
Yeah, I think
I I think that
he could have been good if he harnessed his outgoingness a little bit more, a little bit more professionally.
Right.
But he was just like a loud mouth and making excuses and all this and all that, So he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Yeah, you're right.
But Hollywood Park, man, I love Hollywood Park. I think that's a great idea about the California Thoroughbred Museum. There would be a lot of content because there's a very, very rich horse racing history out of California. Very underrated state when it comes to the racing world. I know a lot of people kind of poo-poo on California. It makes me sad to see that. A lot of people are like, oh, that's a dying circuit, stick a fork in it. Anytime there's bad news involving California, people press on that, and it's a little bit unfair.
You're right. And you know what? The thing is, there is a lot of, there's just a lot of just politics that go on. I was actually part of one of the CHRB meetings a few years back when Sandy was getting a lot of hucky about the horses dying and things like that. And I spoke on behalf of the trainers, the owners, and the jockeys. And the PETA lady comes up and says, well, the young man, because I said that horses are going to run if they want to run. They're not going to, if they're having an issue in the morning, they're not going to come out the barn. Or if they do come out the barn and they're acting up, they ain't going to put that horse on the track. They ain't going to, and the thing is, the lady said, well, people tell me that they still put him on the track. Well, lady, no, you just know it's not going to happen. You never been in the on a backside. You're just talking from somebody else's point of view. And this is when they had the people out there with the signs and stuff going crazy. You know what I mean? And so pretty much I already knew what they were there for. They just have their hand out, really. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that they just have their hand out and all they want is some money. PETA been coming around Santa Anita for the last 30 years. So pretty much, and then I didn't like the way the Shriners group kind of folded to him. You know what I mean?
Okay, I know. I hated that. Look, I don't buy into PETA at all. I don't think they're even great for the animal world at all.
Right. And
I think they're very. I don't know, man. I have a lot of thoughts about some of these political organizations. I'm not going to get into that rant. We'll save that for another day. But even a lot of these ones that pretend to be for certain races or certain causes or whatever, I'm always a little bit leery of them. Because they never really advance the cause, and they just pick on some political issues to harp on. Horse racing has the most visibility. You telling me the horses that are pampered like no other, those are the animals you're so concerned about around the world?
Right.
Horses that are treated like millionaires, that get spa treatment and the best of the best. Are you kidding me? That's what you guys are worried about?
Right. I said that these horses get treated better than the humans that you guys forgot about over on Skid Row.
There you go.
You know what I mean? They get treated. And then when they're all said and done, they get to be lazy. They get to be just out on the pasture eating, a lot of them. You know what I mean? Because your $1 million horse, all he has to do is go hit his 4 women for the day and get his carrots in and he'll be fine.
Exactly. Well, the funny thing to me is sometimes I'm kind of looking at it. I'm like, shit, these horses wouldn't even be in existence if it wasn't for horse racing. There wouldn't be that life. So they basically give it life and pamper it through,
Right. And they don't understand.
In a manner that it wouldn't have been pampered otherwise. So, anyways, I digress.
And then, just one last thing. They got to understand that horses were man's best friend first. Cars, you know what I mean? A dog was just
the world's economy revolved around horses.
Right. So the human and horse relationship has been around for a long time. And that's and people have to understand the only person that can control the horse is a human, because if horses aren't controlled, if we have horses not controlled, they will probably run the world.
It's true. That's true. By the way, there's a movie that came out a short time ago. I don't know if you saw it or not, Pop. It's a good watch. It's about a black community in New York that handles like a horse farm in the city, and it's a true story. Beautiful movie, man. Beautiful movie.
I think I know what you're talking about. Eldridge Alba's in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's Cowboy something. I think I'll catch you when I get back.
It's a very nice movie, man. It's a very, very nice movie.
Yeah, I saw it. All right, so let's change up gears a little bit, Mike. Just a little bit. Let's get into the NFL draft, Mike. Who do you feel was the best pick in the draft, and what team impressed most with their picks?
Wow. I mean, I think any team should be finishing the day happy, right?
Right.
I mean, that kind of just goes to reason, right? Like every team should be feeling optimistic and good. I like what the Dolphins did. The Raiders always are interesting. They always are thinking outside the box, But here's the thing. I think anybody that shored up their quarterback situation for the future is the winner. And we don't know who that is. 49ers think they have their guy. Jets think they have their guy. Statistically speaking, none of them do. So it's become very hard to evaluate the draft based on the first round quarterbacks. I like to dig deeper, man. Which teams added depth? Which teams, more importantly, found starters in the late rounds? Which teams found contributors in the late rounds? To me, those are the winners of the draft, right? Which teams were able to find an edge pass rusher that's going to be a force, right? Those to me are the teams that are the winners. Although it's practically impossible to kind of project one team right now, I would say the Bengals and the Falcons. I think those are my top two winners. Bengals, Falcons, followed by maybe Miami and Carolina. I really think those teams did really well.
I think you're on to something, Mike, because the thing is, if Burrow can be able to get through a 16-game season, Jamar Chase is able to get through a 16-game season, it's going to be magic right there with those two. I think that they're going to get along very, 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 very well. But I think that Atlanta has put their flag in the ground and said that, okay, enough is enough. We're going to be in this race for the NFC South next year. And if they can get Pitts to be healthy all season, and you get Julio Jones to give you 75% of a season, and you get Riley to play exactly like he did last year, and keep Gurley in the fold because Gurley did well, use him in spots. And I think that Atlanta could be right there in the thick of things. But I've been saying this for 3 years about Atlanta, and Atlanta keeps disappointing me. So we'll see.
I hear you, man. But this Pitts is a force. This Pitts is a Kelsey, is a Kittle, is one of those types of guys, impact guys, a threat, a guy that is going to get paid closer to a wide receiver than a tight end like those other two guys. So him alone, he was probably my most guaranteed prospect in the draft. Like if you had a gun to my head and said succeed or lose, I'd pick Pitts.
Well, there's a team that usually doesn't draft well, in my opinion, and they hit their pick right out the park. That was Detroit.
You like that lineman from Oregon?
Well, they were blessed. That was a blessing, Mike, to get him because he shouldn't have dropped to 7. He shouldn't have went nowhere past 5, in my opinion. But there was a frenzy for the wide receiver and the quarterback. Yeah, because that's the thing now in the NFL. And really, the meat and potato guys weren't exceptional this year from what it looked like, how this draft set up. The exceptional players were the playmakers, the wide receivers, the running backs, the tight ends, the quarterbacks. You know what I mean? And we kind of put the linemen and the linebackers all kind of out on the kind of out there a little bit. But he still got their shine. Oh yeah, exactly. He's always gonna get his shine. You know what I mean, but top 10 DBs, that's dangerous to me, Mike. Honestly, even when you're top 10 corner, this is a dangerous situation for you.
How about Horn? What was he, the 8th pick?
Yeah.
I love the pedigree, man. I used to love his pops.
Right.
His pops was the inventor of the sideline scoring celebration theatrics.
Right.
With the cell phone incident.
Right.
There were maybe cool dances. Like I love the Dion dance, real light on his feet. I don't even know what it's called or how he did it. It was almost magical, like a leprechaun or something. He was bouncing around or floating in the air. I love the Dion dance. That was fantastic. I love Dion's high stepping. That was fantastic. Horns, he's the first to kind of bring a prop into the case. And I think that his son is going to be a force in the NFL.
Yeah, I think he is too. He was a great player in college. He did all the right things, and he's right where he needs to be. And Pat Surtain's kid's going to be good too.
Love him.
Yeah, he's going to be a big physical corner who's probably going to be in a lot of Pro Bowls when it's all said and done as well too.
Yeah, and those guys went back to back, picks 8 and 9.
Yeah, because he has the correct attitude for this league, and I really do think that he will shine as well too. Yep. Now, the Raiders pissed off a lot of people because they drafted a need instead of just drafting what they wanted. And Michael Parsons was already gone, so why not take Leatherwood, who was probably the best player left who's the best player to take at the time. Leatherwood is playing on a team that does nothing but play in the college football playoff. You know what I mean, or a national championship. This guy is a natural winner. Why not? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, when you get a guy that's actually got college credibility, there's nothing to get mad about, Raider fans. Jesus Louise. You know what I mean? What were you looking for? You already have a superstar young receiver in Ruggs who didn't do well last year because he was hurt. And pretty much, what are you looking for? What did they miss out on?
And a great young running back.
And a great young running back in Jacobs. Mayock and Gruden drafted great. The problem is that they still got some players on that team that just aren't stepping it up. That's all it is. And I think that they had a real problem with the way the defense was getting run. Everybody knows that Mike Gunther is way past his prime when it comes to being a defensive coordinator. And Gruden was just hiring his buddy. And now they went and got a real defense coordinator, Gus Bradley, former head coach as well too, who can come in there and actually coach up the defense with relevant schemes. And when I say relevant schemes of today, not schemes from 1986. Because that ain't working, Mike.
Look, I have a couple thoughts about the Raiders. The first one is this. I understand people's frustration because I understand Raider fans' frustration.
Right.
Look, we're approaching we're creeping towards the 5-year mark for Gruden's mega contract.
Right.
And nothing's been accomplished so far in terms of playoffs or playoff wins or a road to the Super Bowl or anything like that. So it's understandable that the people are frustrated. The other thing I'm going to mention is this. Look, we all know this. The Raiders don't do anything by the book.
Right.
Right. If the book says, hold on 12, they hit on 12. The book says, don't split threes. They split them and then they double down after the next card. They're going to do it their way.
Right.
There is no book that the Raiders use.
Right.
Right. They scout differently. They draft differently. If on paper use high draft picks on defensive players, boom, they take an offensive tackle.
Right.
I mean, that's just the Raiders' way. But at some point in time, Gruden is going to have to be held accountable, right? He's almost halfway through this mega contract.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get into the playoffs. You got to usher in that new stadium with the fans with some wins. Rebuilds are supposed to happen in 3 or less nowadays.
Right.
We see a lot of teams going from last to first.
Right.
I get it. Kansas City's in the division, but
right.
I mean, that's kind of my main thought on the Raiders. Raiders Nation, I'm going to speak to you from the heart. Keep the faith. Okay, I think that the Raiders are on the right track. I think they're going to make it happen. There is rhyme and reason, although it doesn't seem like it, with what Gruden and Mayock and company are doing. So that's kind of the optimistic viewpoint. Pessimistic viewpoint is they should have taken a defensive player with that first round pick, and the offense is okay. We don't, we could put up, we as in the Raiders can put up 35 points a game, but if we're giving up 40, then that's not going to do anything for our overall record. And I think that's kind of the peak of the frustration. Another team that did pretty well quietly is the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns stepped up last year and finally showed us that stockpiling all these draft picks meant something. And they were able to convert that into a really, really nice season. They started off hot and they closed strong. And I think that they continued that momentum on through the draft. Another team similarly positioned, it's probably the Buffalo Bills. I like the defensive end that they got from Miami. I think his name is Rousseau. And the Bills' strong defense just got better. So those are two teams that I also like what they were doing. I understand what they were doing in the Bills and the Cleveland Browns. AFC just continues to get stronger. NFC East still sucks. It's all about the West. The West and the NFC with the Rams and the Niners and the Seahawks and the Cards. And then the entire AFC.
Right.
And then where it's all about.
And then the South is going to be a little busy this year. I think Carolina is going to be the one on the outside looking in. But I think we got ourselves a 3-horse race going.
I'm sorry, and I missed the Saints, Bucks, and that division is very good. Yeah, but Carolina and Atlanta, that's a good division.
You're pretty on the money though. At the end of the day, though, when it comes to the money makers of the NFL, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Teams that you can trust against other teams, except for each other. You know what I mean? So it works out for you in a sense. Now, another team that made a big splash is Miami.
Yes.
Yeah, because Miami bringing in Waddle is going to now – Tua doesn't have excuses. He has a playmaker. And then bringing in Jalen Phillips, the former Bruin, on defense, that's a stud player right there. So that should work as well too.
Yeah,
so,
no doubt about that.
I think Miami's in good shape.
I think the one concern about Waddle is do we have really a ton of production to go off of? I think he had like 28 receptions last year. It's not a huge sample size. Here's the thing about the Dolphins. It's interesting to me. They seem to be really into these small guys, the smaller receivers. He's listed at 5'9". What is he for real? Like 5'7", 5'8"? Right? They like these smaller receivers. If you look at their roster, most of their receivers that they utilize in the passing game are smaller guys. Jakeem Grant, I think, is like 5'6". 5'6" in NFL. That's like the Spud Webb of football. They like these smaller guys. I thought maybe that they would go for maybe like a 6'2", 6'3" type receiver, big target for Tua. But maybe because of the trajectory of his left-handed throws, maybe it's better suited for smaller receivers. That might be a possibility. But other than that, I would say that the overall, the Dolphins, I think they did very well. I think the Dolphins are going to be a force. I think they're going to be a very, very, very good team. And they should. They had a great foundation last year. They were a playoff team until they made the quarterback switch to Tua. And the Tua move was done. We're going to sacrifice 2020 in order to take leaps and bounds steps ahead in 2021. I get it. I didn't agree with it at the time because I believe there's a locker room that you owe it to pursue wins now, to get to the playoffs now. And I think they forsook, is that a word? You have forsaken me. The locker room, right? They screwed over the locker room. Any Dolphins player in 2020 that thought they were going to be a playoff team was told to take a back seat. So I feel bad for anybody that's no longer on that team because they missed out on a playoff opportunity in 2020. But with that said, it was an investment in player stock into the future. That's what they did. We'll see. We'll see if Tua pans out, because I'm a firm believer that Fitz would have led them to the playoffs. But that's not what happened. Tua's there, and my only theory is that the way that Tua throws is arm motion. The trajectory as a left-handed quarterback, it must be better fit for smaller receivers. That's the only thing I could think of to make sense of the Dolphins continuously getting smaller guys and not going for that vaunted big target receiver. There's rhyme or reason to it.
I feel it. I truly do. Man, I'm telling you now, great draft, great stuff, Mike. Let's go ahead. Let's get a commercial in real quick. Get our drinks in. Replenish real fast.
You know me, I got to have my 2 sodas during the show.
And you know what, Diet Coke? Hey, you know what, Diet Coke? I'm calling you guys next week when I come back. We're getting Mike a deal. We need to get Diet Coke sponsoring the Mike Abadir show with Gino Picola. So you guys, pretty much you guys can have him. He'll wear the Diet Cola hat, the Diet Cola jacket, all that good stuff for you.
Sounds good, man. I'll be a sellout to Diet Coke.
Yeah, sell a lot of Diet Cokes. All right, so with that, you guys check out hatclub.com. We can get you your 10% off on any $50 order or better. Hatclub.com. Check them out, man. Great website. Always got the drip. I'm going to have to get Mike a Boston Red Sox hat very soon as well, too. Probably a pink one as well, so he can stand out in the Bronx when he goes and watches the Yankees and the Red Sox play as well, too. But the hat will be dripping. And it will it will show that the Red Sox won a title more recently than the Yankees. So pretty much with that, we'll be back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and Mike Abadir.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. Getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we are back with the show, and here we are. Let's go ahead and jump into it. We got baseball to talk about, Mike, and let's get into the Blue Crew Daily. And the Dodgers are on a absolute struggle right now. To be dead honest with you, it's not looking good, Mike. I'm be very, very honest with you. It's not looking good at all for the Blue Crew early in the season. I think that maybe they could possibly be doing a little bit better than they actually are right now, because you have yourself 17 and 14 team that started off the season 11-2. They've only won their last 6 out of 12 games. They've won 6 out of 18, and they've dropped. I think the Dodgers have dropped 10 out of 14 as well too. So it's a struggle, Mike.
It is, and I apologize about all my camera movement here. I don't have it stationary, so I'm trying to position it right. I got a back that's giving me a big time fits right now, so I keep moving around. So apologize to the viewers. I hope I'm not making you guys dizzy like the Dodgers are making their fans right now. Look, here's the thing. We said it the other day, or before the season started. The Dodgers are so good, they're almost boring.
Right.
Dodgers are so good, they're almost boring. However, they were supposed to be able to withstand a rash of injuries. That was going to be their strength, is their depth.
Right.
Well, now they're dealing with a rash of injuries, and they're not really withstanding it very well. Right now, they busted out with a 16-run performance, but that was really just two guys.
Right.
The two guys pretty much did the whole, the 15 RBIs between two players, which is just ridiculous. And it's ridiculous when you think about the fact that it's not even two of the main guys. So that is the kind of depth that the Dodgers have. But right now they're going through the injury bug, and look, the record is still 17-12. But you couldn't have given me odds that through 30 games the Giants would be ahead of the Dodgers.
Right.
I didn't think that'd be possible.
Right. Well, you know what? It's just the Dodgers need to see the Giants. That's all. That's all they need to do is see the Giants, and then I think everything will right itself.
It's going to be a good series, man.
Right.
It's going to be a good series when they meet. It's nice that they finally meet when both teams are playing well.
Right.
So I hope that is the case when they do get their matchup.
Well, the Dodgers, it's just a lot of people are injured, man. That's all I can say. Every time you look up, somebody's getting hurt. So there's going to be some changes made as well, too. I think that there's going to be a big trade made with the Dodgers as well, too. Probably somebody like A.J. Pollock, who hasn't really played up to the contract that he was signed to. He's been hurt a lot as well. And then there's other players that can be moved as well, too, at this point to bring in some more power, some more, stability, some more stability and everything like that. And I keep saying, man, why can't they go get Stanton? Stanton is dying in New York, man. He's dying.
That New York situation is crazy.
He's dying a slow death there, dude. Florida, when he was in Miami, he was like top 5 players in the league. With New York, he was supposed to become the best player in the league, like hitting wise. And that ain't never came to fruition because all of his flaws have been revealed in New York. See, in Miami, it was okay when he struck out because they weren't good. You know what I mean? And, so they got somebody trying. But when you're with the Yankees and it's bring or bust, and they're going to go ahead and they're going to watch every strikeout. When you strike out 3 times in the game, go 0 for 4, they're going to bring it up on morning radio the next day.
Oh, yeah.
That's not going to be there. It's not going to because they're paying you so much money to win the ball games and you're not doing it.
Yeah, well, and the problem with the Yankees is they have too many guys that play the same way.
Right.
A high strikeout team, not a lot of good at-bats, not a lot of taking an at-bat into a deep count. That's why the Red Sox are the most professional hitting team in the majors. We're talking about professional at-bats, working the count, being selective, getting your best pitches, hitting the best pitches, not striking out a lot, drawing a walk. These things are boring.
Right.
But that's what professional hitters do. And the Yankees just don't have enough of those guys. Maybe DJ LeMahieu, but outside of that, you got to line up of sluggers. And I don't think you could slug your way to the World Series, man. Just don't think so.
The Yankees
look at the Giants right now. Giants aren't slugging worth crap.
Right.
But they're winning games.
Right.
Or the Royals. The Royals are doing well. That doesn't mean that you can't have any home run hitters. But when you have a lineup of 6'5", 40 home run guys that strike out a lot, your home run numbers at the end of the year might look good, but that's kind of why I can't believe that people are down on the RBI as a stat.
Right.
Right? To me, it's very telling when somebody has like 40 homers and 80 RBI. That's a whack ratio. If you have 40 homers, you should be driving in like 125.
Right.
Right? But if you have a lineup of strikeout kings and home run kings, you're going to have a lot of home runs and not a lot of RBI. You remember before, it was never – if you had 20 home runs, it was a virtual guarantee that you're going to have 100 RBI. Remember that?
Right.
That's not the case anymore. Pull up the stats from any of the last few years. There's a lot of big home run hitters. I think there was a guy the other year that hit 30 home runs and it was like 90 RBI. I'm like, how? Especially when you consider a lot of those that didn't get out of the park were doubles, right?
Right.
So between like doubles and home runs, you have like 65 hits that either got out of the park or were a double, and you couldn't even clear 90 RBI. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I digressed a little bit. That's kind of the problem with the Yankees. But back with the Dodgers, yeah, they're dealing with some injuries. But my main concern with them is they were supposed to be able to withstand the injuries because of all the depth they had. They had an embarrassment of riches. And let's face it, even though Kershaw looked like crap the other day, he's been phenomenal. And they still have Walker, Kershaw, and Bauer. So it's kind of hard to feel sorry for the team. It's kind of hard to use the injury bug as an excuse, right? I mean, how can you say, oh, well, we got a lot of injuries? Heck, look at your rotation. Still got Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, and Trevor Bauer. I'm sorry. It's just not an excuse to me. They should be winning and winning now. They should have the depth to be able to plug that hole. That's kind of my take on it, Pop.
I agree, Mike. I totally agree. Now, let's get into the dollars, man. Let's get into the money portion of the baseball, and let's talk about these games that we got going today. We got the Astros and the Yankees. We just got done talking about the Yankees. You got the Astros coming in here plus 115. Yankees are minus 140. You got Montgomery on the mound for the Yankees today. And what are your thoughts on this game right here?
All right. Well, I think we should maybe spend a minute doing a recap of the previous week's picks. Maybe we can incorporate that into the segment. There was a couple of good pluses that came through last week. There were a couple of favorites that disappointed last week as well. So we'll call ourselves out on the good and the bad. I think when it comes to this game, the Astros have actually played pretty well on the road. In fact, the Astros and the Yankees have identical 8-7 records. At 8-7 Astros at home on the road, 8-7 are the Yankees at home. The Astros have a hard luck pitcher going, Luis Garcia. His ERA is 2.70, yet he's winless. He's 0-3, and he's going up against Jordan Montgomery. In terms of the line here being plus 115 for the Astros, it's interesting to me because, you'd think the Yankees at home, people bet on New York. Yeah, they're minus 140, but they're not giving you a juicy plus side on the Astros. And because of that, I'm a little bit suspicious. I'm going to go ahead and take the Astros and their hard luck pitcher, Luis Garcia, at the plus 115, Pop.
Gotcha. I think I like the scoreboard here a lot. So we're gonna move on and let's go ahead and get to the Braves and the Nats. And the Braves and the Nats today should be a good one. We have ourselves a pretty good situation going on here with these two. And the thing is, we got Fede on the mound for the Nats, and then we have ourselves Max Fried. I like to call it Max Fried. So pretty much I'm gonna just be honest with you. I love the Braves with the minus 130 today that I had earlier, but as things progress during the day, it jumps up to 135. But I had them at 130. I like them a lot. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I like the Braves at minus 135. I think Max Fried, he got off to a bad start during the year. But that may have been because he needed some time on the DL, on the injured list. And he got his time. They extended it. I think he should be good to go. This guy was their ace last year. He was their losing streak stopper last year. I think Fried is a reliable pitcher. And I will go ahead and take the Braves on the road at minus 135.
All right. So we're in agreement on that one. And we're going to go ahead. Let's switch it on over to another divisional game. It's going to be the Indians and the Royals. Indians and Royals. This one should be a really fun one, man. So pretty much the thing is with the Royals and the Indians, thing is we have ourselves a pretty fun matchup today. But I think what happens here is that you can go ahead and trust the Indians in this spot. Even though, and this is crazy, everybody has to really give my man Mike his props. This was 3 weeks before the season even started. Mike was Kansas City. And when you look at the standings, guess who's on top of the Central Division? Kansas City. Even though they've dropped their last, I think it's their last probably
three in a row.
They were 14-7 at one point. They're 16-12 now. So that means they're 2-5 in their last 7, but that's okay. They got some spirit to them, and that's good when you got some spirit to you, because that means that now you believe in what you guys can do. Sometimes April is really good. It's a really good month for teams that didn't have expectations. And once you see you can start winning, the winning becomes contagious. Ask the Astros from 5 years ago that. Seriously, Astros were pegged to be a last place team and took the MLB by storm in the first 6 weeks of the season. So don't ever believe what Sports Illustrated is talking about, what Pop DiBiase is talking about. These teams are going to play. You know what I mean, Mike? So that's what it is right there. But still, I think the Indians win this game by 2 or more runs today. How your thoughts on this one, Mike?
Yeah, the Royals, mini little slump. These teams are kind of going in different directions over the last few days. Indians are winners of 3 in a row. The Royals, as you mentioned, losers of 3 games in a row. And this is a very, very tightened division, with the Royals having a slim 1-game lead over the Indians, and they are in a tie with the White Sox atop the AL Central. So this is a big divisional matchup, as you alluded to, and we can take a quick look at the pitching matchup in this matchup here, and we're going to have probably Cleveland's best in Shane Bieber. He's been lights out, phenomenal. He's always good. This is very, very reliable pitching. Indians have probably the best organization for churning out stud pitchers in the majors right now. So big props to the Cleveland Indians organization. And on the other side, Bieber is going to be going up against Brady Singer, the Royals pitcher, who's done very, very well. I would expect this one to be a low-scoring matchup, Pop. I think this over-under being set at 7, although it may sound low, I think it's appropriate. I think this is a matchup we look back tomorrow morning at the box score, and we're going to see 5 runs were scored. Under 7 is the play.
Under 7. Sounds good to me, Mike. I think that you're on to something with that. We move on to another matchup that's a fun matchup tonight. Pirates and the Padres. The Padres coming in here, probably the heaviest favorite of the day at -250. That's what I was saying, my mystical voice. Danger! I'm telling you, that's the situation right there, because the Pirates plus 200, the Pirates are no slouch this year. They don't have a great lineup, but they're no slouch at this moment. So I like the Pirates today to keep the game close. And you know what? This could be your dog of the day if you want to go ahead and get you a big doggy to walk home. Because the thing is, when I see a team that's -250 and a team that's plus 200, I always side with the team that's plus 200. Because it always feels like that team has too much pressure on it that's over 250 or better, Mike, to be honest with you. And the only way you're going to get some cash off that team is if you play a 2.5 run spread. So every indication says to go to the other side. What are your thoughts, Mike?
So this is kind of how I look at these type of situations where you have like a heavy favorite going up against, a team that, they're supposed to beat. But, in baseball, of course, that doesn't always happen like that. So here's how I look at it, okay? This is the 3rd game of the series. They've all been super low scoring. The Padres won on Monday, 2-0. The Pirates won on Tuesday, 2-1. So how I approach these is this. Before the series started, who would I have said would win the series? I would say the Padres. Well, they have to win today to win the series. Are the Pirates going to take 2 out of 3 from the Padres? Before the series, my prediction was the Padres take 2 out of 3. Then I got to stick with that. Padres win this game. And even though it's been very, very low scoring up till this point, the entire series, we've only seen a grand total of 5 runs so far. This over-under is tempting me to go over the 6.5. I think this is where some of the bats are going to bust out. I'm going to go Padres -1, and I'm going to go over 6.5.
All right. Face off. I love it. I love it. All right. So pretty much, Mike, let's go ahead and jump into the Angels and the Rays. Ohtani is pitching tonight. Ohtani, I don't think Ohtani's really played up to the exact hype that they thought he was going to be honest with you. I think that he kind of is just pretty much what you assume he was going to be in the first place anyway. You know what I mean? So pretty much that's what I see when it comes down to that situation. But I do like the Angels tonight, though, to actually be right here in this game, Mike. So pretty much I do like them a lot here. And I think that they're good. I think that the -130 is a good money on them, even though they dropped down to -125 from what I have it on Talkin Tickets. I'm going to go ahead and take them, Mike. So I like them. I like them a lot. So pretty much that's where I'm going with this one.
You know, in terms of Ohtani, I mean, he makes some fair points. Here's the thing that I'll tell you, though. In the glimpses that we've seen of Shohei Ohtani, he's been pretty brilliant. And this year, he's had some moments where you are just dazzled, must-see type moments, where he hits 100 on the gun and then hits a home run the next inning. You know, where he's doing stuff within one game that we just haven't seen before, the likes of before, since maybe Babe Ruth. So I have to give Ohtani and his abilities great respect. I give him props. We just want to see more of it. We just want to see more of it more consistently, you know, not have him deal with the injury bug. Hopefully we can get some full seasons in where he can maybe get 30 starts and maybe 500 at bats, you know, and then we'll be able to see his full potential. As a pitcher, I think people like him more as a pitcher. I think he's a better hitter than a pitcher, at least more consistent. You know, this guy can hit for average. He could steal bases. He could hit home runs. And, oh, by the way, yeah, on the mound, he could also get you a shutout. So great matchup tonight. Tampa's pitcher, very underrated, Andrew Kittredge, 3-0, 1.54 microscopic ERA. Shohei Ohtani, 1-0, 3.29 ERA. Battle of the unbeaten. Unbeaten teams, unbeaten pitchers. And this is kind of what I love to see. And I think that we're going to have a well-played, well-pitched game. And I would go with the Rays at +110. The Rays are a little bit more appealing to me at +110. Peskiest team in baseball, the Tampa Rays. Hard to go against them when they're 9-5 on the road.
I heard that. All right, let's move forward. Let's go ahead and talk about the Blue Jays and the Athletics. This is going to be a good game today. I really do like the way that this one sets up as well, too. And I do truly feel that this is going to wind up in a very, very fun situation and everything like that. And you know what? I think we got a pitcher's duel on our hands today, too, Mike. So I'm going with the under.
Interesting. Under 8. Robbie Ray, Chris Bassett. Robbie Ray, big strikeout pitcher. Chris Bassett consistently keeps you in ball games. He's always going to be in the giving up 3-4 runs territory. You know, doesn't get blasted, just keeps you in the game. I think the under is an interesting play. You know, the A's have had a very topsy-turvy season so far, but overall, I think they are probably very happy with where their record is at 19-12. They're winners of 3 in a row. So this team has really been hot since the opening week. And the Blue Jays kind of going a little bit of a different direction, losers of 2 in a row. And the Blue Jays are not a very good road team. They've they've only won 7 out of their 17 road matchups. It's a long road trip. It's very far from home. I think the play here is the Oakland A's at -125.
All right. I like it. I like it a lot. But I'm going to take the under 8 here. And pretty much, Mike, stick around with me. I'm going to talk NBA with me for a moment here. We got a nice little groove going if you got a little bit more time.
Let's do it.
All right. So pretty much with that, we will be right back. And you guys check out good old Paramount Plus. Very good, very fun. Dealing with Paramount Plus. Very good content here as well too. You can watch a lot of the good throwback MTV Real Worlds too, Mike. All the ones that like New York, the first one in New York, and all that good stuff. And pretty much you have a lot of good content here, and you can watch a lot of the good old fashioned things that we all used to enjoy as kids. So check them out, Paramount Plus. Use my promo code VSX, and we will be right back to you with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. And I'm your host, the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, with Mike Abadir.
The Viget app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Viget is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Viget.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
All right, we are back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. And boy, oh boy, you know what they call me, Mike, man. This is the way I got real famous on Twitter and all that good stuff. The Hoops Guru. So it's time to go ahead and bring you into my world. Let's go ahead and talk about the NBA Monday preview. But first, let's get into the Lakers real quick. All right, Lakers back to sixth place after the Mavs won last night. And they got the Clippers coming up Thursday night. Mike, what are your thoughts on that game real quick? Because we're not going to have a show tomorrow because I'm going to be on the plane.
Sorry, I was muted there. Battle of LA. I mean, this is kind of the matchup that Los Angelinos have been talking about really since the Lakers landed LeBron James. Look, for seeding purposes, the Lakers are sitting there 10 games out. You got the Mavs tied with them at 10. You got Portland right behind them at 11. The Clippers, pretty much them and the Nuggets are going to duke it out for the 3 seed. Looks like that's where they're going to be. So this game has a lot of meaning for both teams. Now, I'm not saying that the Lakers would miss the playoffs or anything like that, but we got to keep in mind, the Warriors, Grizzlies, and the Spurs are right around the corner there, just a few games out from the Lakers. It would take a really, really big-time tank job, but hey, they're losers of they're winners of 3 out of their last 10 games, so anything can happen if you roll off a hot streak. I think right now this game means more for the Lakers than the Clippers, but little brother maybe wants to prove something. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at this matchup, is who needs it more, who wants it more, who does it matter to more. I think the way that things have been going for the Lakers, hard not to side with the Clippers, but you never underestimate the heart of a champion. And the Lakers really, really need this. They need every game pretty much moving forward if they want to keep their playoff seeding at least. There's just too many teams that are right on their heels or tied with them.
You're right. But you know what? I think this is what we call a thrill of the chase right now, Mike. Honestly, this is awesome. This is what you want. You want parity. You know, when we watch horse races, we always love to see our horse be 10 lengths ahead. That makes us feel comfortable. That makes us feel good. But when you are in the stretch and it's 5, 6, 7 horses, and you see your horse coming from the outside and he got everybody measured, and then he wins the race, that feels so much better.
It's a fulfilling feeling.
Usually it's your shot. It's usually a shot horse that will do that for you.
Yep.
That they pretty much had already, they don't worry about this horse in the form. Even though, he got the form to be here in the group, he's won stakes races as well, too. The bettors just are so in love with the jockeys that are on the other end because they red hot today at the track. But this the money race right here. And money teams always show up just like money horses always show up. The Lakers will be absolutely fine, Mike. Quote me when I tell you this. Okay. They'll be fine. The Lakers are going to probably go on a late season tear. It started the other night with the Nuggets. That's the Laker team that you need to expect, plus LeBron, moving forward. Because those 2 losses were needed, because they needed a wake-up call. LeBron is not your savior. AD is not your savior. We need all of you to include yourself into this. And what Frank Vogel did, and this is why Frank Vogel keeps impressing me more and more as a coach. He finally told himself, you know what? I know Andre Drummond was a big deal on getting him because he has a lot of accolades, but those accolades are on bad teams, Mike. Bad teams. And, a guy can do so well on a bad team, but then when they get to a good team, they might not adjust the right way because you can't make the same mistakes on the Lakers that you were making on the Cavs. You can't make those same mistakes, and Drummond does that a lot. And pretty much what happened was you throw Marc Gasol in the game. He throws some physicality onto Jokic, a guy who is a big physical guy, but he's not. But most guys don't try to get physical with him. But once you do get physical with him, now he becomes kind of just another center out there. But when you're letting him do what he wants to do, be the dancing bear, he's going to kill you. But when you get in his chest and you make him work for everything that he has to get, it's going to be it's a little bit of an issue for him with that. Even though he'll get his points, all that good stuff, but you know what I mean, Mike. Physicality is something that helps on him. Drummond was not trying to get physical at all with him. Marc Gasol came in there and literally slapped him in the face to start off his day in the game. Yeah. To show us that, you know what, I play defense. I know how to play defense. I know how to win. And that's why I tell Laker fans who think that they're GMs and coaches that Marc Gasol is not the problem. Marc Gasol is a 12, 13-year vet in the NBA. He played another extra 3 years over. He played 3-4 years in Spain before he got here. So he's literally a 17-year player. You know what I mean? So he's really on the back end of his career. But it's like Moneyball. I want you for who you are right now. I could care less who you were 5 years ago. I want you for who you are right now because you are a basketball genius when it comes down to things. You know exactly how to win basketball games. You know exactly how to move a team. And I don't need you to be still young and youthful. I just need you to be you because you're a winner. And that's why the difference in Gasol and Drummond. You know what I mean? And Gasol got out there. We got a victory because he was in there when we needed him to be in there. You know what I mean? And then, they're on the sideline. Well, let us make sure he gets his rebound. No, Drummond, if you got 4 points and Jokic has already lit you up for 35, you're on the bench, bro. You're not having a good night. What are we catering to? You know what I mean? Because if you got to cater to somebody's ego, then why are you on our team? Who are you? Seriously. Two times don't impress me.
Man, your analysis, this is why you are the NBA guru.
Man, I love this game, dude. And I can break down any of y'all teams, bro, because I watch everybody. I don't just watch the Lakers, because I can tell you what's wrong with the Cavs, can tell you why the Wizards are playing so well, because the Wizards got 2 MVPs. You know what I mean? 2 MVPs. Bradley Beal should win MVP this year, but he's not. Russell Westbrook is in the MVP talk every single year. And he's having probably even a better year than he had when he won the MVP, simply because he was written off. And I think these are the little things that, pretty much that we can get into. But let me stick to the Lakers. The Lakers are going to be fine. The Lakers have to just get out of their own way. That's it. And they need more from guys like Kuzma as well, too. And Wesley Matthews has to stop being so, I don't know what he's doing sometimes out there. You know what I mean? So, guys got to be like my man Caruso. Caruso might not bring it every night athletically, but Caruso's smart. You know what I mean? And he'll figure it out. You know what I mean? But key thing is, though, the Lakers really don't look good when Dennis Schroeder's not in. When they're complete, Dennis Schroeder is a very big key to the team. And I think that he is the third guy when it comes to AD and LeBron. He doesn't get the credit for that, but I consider him the third guy because I know that he can put up 30 points in a game if we need him to. But him being out, it makes everything sketch because he makes other point guards work on the other end, and he tires them out by the fourth quarter, all that good stuff. So when the Lakers get their full unit in place, it's going to look a lot like the Rockets from 1995. Telling you.
Interesting analogy. You know, let me tell you, you mentioned the ability to kind of do a full breakdown on any team. One of these days, I'm going to want to hear your breakdown for a team that I kind of predicted to be kind of an up-and-coming team, was the Sacramento Kings. They haven't quite lived up to expectations, but they are winners of 3 in a row, and I know that they're going to be going up against all these West teams down the stretch here, some of these divisional matchups. It'll be interesting to see what the Kings have to say about this final stretch. Who do they let into the playoffs? Who do they try to stump along the way? Because I think the Kings are so young and they've got some talent. And I think they're going to have a big say. It's kind of like the Orioles late in the year. They're going to have a say as to who wins the AL East when they're going up against the Rays, the Yankees, and the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. With that said, look, I think your predictions about the Lakers are probably on point. I think that the Nuggets game was probably where the turnaround started, and they'll probably close strong, solidify their playoff seeding, and they'll have an opportunity to be able to win or lose if they need to be able to face the team that they want to face. Right. So, I wouldn't want to go up against the Clippers in the first round. I think the Lakers would probably prefer to smash the Jazz, for those who aren't believers in the Jazz. But the Jazz have a nice percentage win differential of 9.1 per game. So they really they merit respect. I think that's tops in the NBA. The Suns may be too young to be considered champions, too inexperienced. It's probably the Clippers, the Nuggets, and the Mavs have turned it on. I'm not worried about Portland. This is probably the Lakers season again, but it's going to be a little bit more challenging than people have expected going into this year. That's kind of my take on it.
I agree. I'm right there with you because that's how it kind of is setting up right now, is that, the Lakers are just, going through the course of things. And, Phoenix, nobody expected Phoenix to be this good this year. You thought Phoenix would be down in the lower tier group, but because the Lakers injury woes, they're right where they're at, and they get confident by the game because they got a confident guy in Chris Paul. So it is what it is with that at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and get into my super high five games real quick. Up first, we got the Hawks and the Heat. Mike, give me your thoughts on this one right here. We got a +1 going to the home team, and we got an over-under at 227.5. Literally, the game's to pick them with a over-under of with a high over-under.
Eastern Conference matchup here, Hawks and Heat. They are 5 and 6 seeds, respectively. Hawks 5, Heat 6. They're a game apart from each other in the standings. Statistically speaking, or at least in terms of their conference standing and their records, very, very similar teams. They're both just as good as one another at home. They're just as good as one another on the road. So it's no surprise that these two teams are pretty close to standings. This is a tough game to handicap, man. You picked a very, very challenging one, and I think the line reflects it. I'm sorry, did I say the Heat? Wait, is that the Suns logo or the Heat logo? Now I'm confused. I'm confusing myself, man.
It's the Hawks and the Suns, man.
Hawks and the Suns.
You good. It happens sometimes. Sometimes we have some logo issues, which got it. But
the Suns here as a +1. I think that's the play, man. Winners of 5 in a row. This team is just too hot, and they're really good on the road, man. They've won 22 out of 31 games. To me, that's the play.
My year advanced better. It's money line, dog. We don't play no spreads on the one.
Screw the one. We're gonna go for the win.
It's a straight. We got to go with the straight up.
Absolutely.
Straight up, no chaser.
Absolutely.
All right, so I like the Hawks tonight with the even money, Mike.
Okay.
All right, so that's where I'm going with this one. All right, now here goes your Kings with the Pacers today, and they're a 6.5 point dog over under 239.5. Quick thoughts, Mike.
Kings winners of 3 in a row. Pacers losers of 6 out of their last 10. I'm going with the Sacramento Kings in this matchup.
Oh, you taking the +215 too?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? I like the over-under scoreboard watching here. I think it goes under, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Even though the Kings are one of the more high-scoring teams in the league, but they give up a lot of points at the same time too. All right, so let's move forward. And we have ourselves the Wizards at the Bucks. And the Wizards at the Bucks. This is probably one of our better games of the night, Mike. And this is the hottest team in the NBA right now, the Washington Wizards, with the hottest player in the NBA right now, Russell Westbrook. Russell's getting like 20 assists a game now. It was 21-24 the other night. 21 rebounds, 24 assists, I think. That's absurd, Mike. That's absurd because I've been watching Russell since he was a freshman at UCLA. And to see him do this now in NBA games is absolutely incredible for a guy who just was considered a fast wing player. Seriously. Making him a point guard. He wasn't a point guard at UCLA. He was a two guard that didn't really shoot very well, but when he did shoot some shots, it was always at a key moment. But his whole game was defense, being a good safety or cornerback, and being able to get that pick six and then give you a thunderous dunk. But I didn't know he was going to become all of this. I'm very proud of Russell Westbrook. That's all I'm saying, Mike. But to get down to realistic stuff, I like the over in this spot. Your thoughts?
Milwaukee. This is probably one of the best regular season teams in NBA over the last couple of seasons, and I like that they usually step up when called upon during the regular season. I'm not going to clown and bash on them about the playoffs just yet, but in terms of the regular season, this team is a force to be reckoned with. Winners of 22 out of 32 at home. I think the Wizards are coming on as of late, like you said, winners of 8 out of their last 10, and I know they have a bigger streak than that, but let's keep in mind, this team is still 5 games under 500. They're still just a 10 seed, and they're still a lot much inferior to the Milwaukee Bucks. I think this is actually a gift of a point spread at 3.5. Milwaukee by 10 over the Wizards.
He said by 10. By 10. Make sure it goes over though, Mike. That's what we want.
Okay. How about 135 to 130? Make it very clear cut.
135.
But that wouldn't be my 10 though, but it would still cover this point spread. So 135 to 130 would make it really happy if you go Milwaukee and over.
Got you. All right, let's go ahead and talk about a team that I just can't get enough of. and that's going to be Knicks at the Nuggets. But, man, the Knicks, I'm telling you, I love this team, Mike. They are playing so good, to be honest with you. I like them, too. They're my dog of the day, plus 150 on the Knicks. Let's go. Denver, I don't think they bounced back from that loss to the Lakers the other night. Knicks are even more of a physical defensive team, so I like the Knicks a lot in this one. I think they do get the win here. Mike, what are your thoughts?
I like the Knicks too, man. Winners of 9 out of their last 10. They're a red-hot team, and I think this is a team that is going to, finally make New Yorkers happy. It's been a really, really long time. Not saying that they're going to win an NBA title. I don't think they're a contender for that this year as of yet, but they've won 3 in a row, and I think the Nuggets might be thinking more about their divisional matchups and where they stand in the Western Conference. And so this is a team that could come in, kind of sneak up and come out of there with a win or keep this game close. I'll take the Knicks plus the points.
All right, and there it is. And I'm taking the Knicks on a straight-up bet.
Nice.
I'm throwing my jacket on the table for them.
Okay. I think that works.
Now, our final game, we got the Spurs at the Jazz. Spurs at the Jazz. This one is, I'll be real quick with this one. Give me the Jazz. I think the Jazz clean them out tonight. What are your thoughts, Mike?
I'm with you. I keep it nice and simple. Jazz. This team. Look, the biggest point differential in the NBA. This isn't the Spurs of yesteryear. This team is slumping. They're losers of 4 in a row. These teams just going different directions, bro. The Jazz are the cream of the crop regular season wise in the NBA, right up there with the Suns this year, and lurking right behind them are the Clippers and the Nuggets. A clear cut for the top 4 seeds, and I think from this point rolling forward, the Jazz are going to continue to roll until they have some tough playoff matchups that they're going to be confronted with. If I'm the Jazz, I don't really want to face, any of the Lakers or the Mavs or the Warriors in the playoffs. I just wouldn't. So they need to get what they're going to get right now, and as much of it as possible, and that's wins in the regular season. That way the standings look pretty for them when they're watching the NBA Finals from home.
Right. Exactly. So, yep, that's it. There it is. All rivals, the Spurs and the Jazz, and that's going to be a wrap on the NBA preview today. Now let's go ahead and get into Talkin Tickets, and with Talkin Tickets, we have ourselves up first. The MLB PrimeTime PK6, and this is where I'm going with this one, Mike. All right, today in the PrimeTime PK6 is a 46-1 ticket, over 9.5. Yankees, Astros, Braves money line minus 130. The Indians minus 1.5. Pirates plus 1.5. The Angels money line minus 125, and the under 8 on the Blue Jays and the A's. Single what you like. All right, so we move on, and we have ourselves the NBA Super High Five, and in the NBA Super High Five, we have ourselves another really good one here. It's gonna be 34-1. It's gonna be the Hawks plus 100, and then we have ourselves the under 240 with the Kings and the Pacers, and then the over 243.5 with the Wizards and the Bucks. The Knicks money line plus 150, and the 6.5 to the Jazz, giving us a 34-1 ticket. So that's going to be that, and pretty much you guys can go ahead and bet all this up over at Wager, where the world bet's at, and pretty much let me go ahead and get that for you. And you guys can use my promo code VSXPOP. So once again, that is where the world bet's at. So you guys go ahead and give them what looks it do, and you guys will reap the benefits from this VSXPOP. All right, so Mike, we are here. We have reached the finish line, brother. And you know what? I'm only going to go 30 extra minutes because you are my guy, and I love talking to you about this sports thing. And hopefully, if everything works out well, we'll have you back next Wednesday as well too.
It's a pleasure to be here, man. Always appreciate the invite. Love talking sports with you. Everything from horse racing on through the NBA. And I have a funny feeling the next week we're going to be talking a little boxing with Pop DiBiase. So, hey, have a tremendous weekend. I know we'll be in touch. Have a safe trip, and bring us back some photos. We want to see photos of this live monster boxing event, which I know you're going to get into in the next couple of days here with all the viewers out there. So thanks, Pop. Much appreciated.
Yes, sir. All right. So with that, this is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and the man himself, a radio sports agent aficionado, Mike Abadir, and we are gone. All right, and I'm still here. So pretty much, I see you guys, and I'm out of here. Which guy? I'm controlling the deck. So here it is, and I'm gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.